Yo, what is going on, guys? In this tip video, I'm going to go over a couple highlights of a playbook that I think is extremely slept on in the Madden community, and that is going to be the Baltimore Ravens playbook. Now, you can utilize the live playbook or the regular, it doesn't really matter. Both of them have the same things in terms of this. Now, the things that I want to talk about are going to focus on basically three different elements that can all be combined into one scheme. Now, for this scheme, I do highly recommend that you have a slot apprentice at your third receiver spot. So just to go ahead and showcase this to you, we're going to go to the depth chart, and I'm just going to show you how I set up the depth chart for the Vikings. So in this spot, we're going to go ahead and put Johnson at 1, Stephon Diggs at 2, but most importantly, Adam Thielen at 3. Whoever is your route apprentice, say you're playing with the Saints, you could put Michael Thomas there. If you are playing with a mutt team, basically, that's just the spot that he needs to be in. Now, you can put him in other spots, obviously, if you have multiple, but the key to make this work is going to be the route apprentice or the slot apprentice at the number 3rd spot on the depth chart. So, with that being said, let's get into why this is glitchy. And like I said, I'm going to go over 3 different things in terms of this that I feel really gives this playbook a unique advantage that other playbooks simply don't have and cannot get. So, first thing I want to talk about is going to be your single back bunch ace. Now, for this, we're going to set up our audibles, and we're going to utilize pretty much 3 plays. The inside zone, it's a running play. Doesn't really work all that well, but you don't really have a better alternative. So I just leave it there. I set up stick, then 4 verts is already your stock audible. PA fork shot is also a stock audible. Now, besides that, the other things that we're going to look at are going to be the shotgun deuce close. And for this, I will set the audibles up as corners and goes, 0-1 trap, bench swap, which I believe is this default audible by itself, and then PA deep cross. Now we're going to come out in shotgun wing. Your audibles are essentially set up for you. You don't change any of them. Now, with this shotgun wing set, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you have the ability to get your 3rd receiver at your inside tight end spot. Or excuse me, your slot spot outside of the tight end and inside of the outside receiver. The way you do it, you flick your your right analog stick 1 time to the left. You see you have the 3 wide receiver package in this spot. Now, that's going to put Thielen, once again, in between your tight end and your number 2 receiver. So, the first thing that makes this scheme really glitchy is the fact that if you take this formation and flip it, so say we were to flip the formation in general, right? Whatever the outside receiver's route is going to actually be flipped. So, you can abuse this with, for instance, say slot 2 buck. You can have your ISO slide receiver normally on an out route. That's not something that you can always do, right? So a thing that I really like to do with that is if I'm in a 2nd and short or a 3rd and short, and I think my opponent might be playing hard flats to try to take away another route that I'll be showing you, you can utilize that out route as a way to get over the top of their hard flat, which I'm sure they will be making adjustments to. So the bread and butter of this is going to be the play stick, right? So I'm going to show you how this works, and I'm just going to come out in man coverage at first. So you see by default, this is how stick looks, right? You see you have Thielen in this spot. Your other receivers are where they're supposed to be. Tight ends where you're supposed to be. Now, if you take this formation and you flip it, as I mentioned, this outside receiver that was the ISO receiver now has an inverted route. And the reason this is really good is because now that slant becomes a slant out. So you can use this setup right here where you put the slot apprentice guy on a post, and then you can streak the other tight end. You can streak the tight end. And now you have the ability to hit a slant out. So this is my first setup that I use out of this play, is I'll put the slot apprentice post on the receiver in the slot, streak the tight end, drag the outside receiver on the right, and then I'm going to motion this receiver in that is on the slant out, and you'll notice that he's going to go in faster than the receiver will actually go in on his route. So what we can do is we can glitch that corner by letting him get pretty much to where the middle linebacker is. You see Bentley on the field, the guy with the M over top of him. The corner will get to that spot before the receiver even hits Thielen. It'll allow us to hike the ball and just have a huge advantage on this slant out. So let's go ahead and show that. See, boom. You see, you can throw that. And that was actually a really bad animation. So, but as you saw, the corner was nowhere near the receiver. So the slant out's always going to be there. So we're going to set it up again. Motion him in. Hike right here. Boom. Slant out. And now you see we get a nice little rack animation that results in a touchdown. This is going to force our opponent completely out of man coverage. If they are in man coverage, we can abuse this over and over and over again. And that doesn't just mean, you know, a two-man under or a cover one, something like that. If your opponent runs a lot of match coverage, the same principle will work. So that is going to work. And say they come out and they try to run a cover three, right? So let me find my defensive controller. So say we're in a cover three. A lot of people, especially in MUT, run stock cover three as a base. It's just something they feel the need to do. So we'll go ahead and do this right here. Same exact setup. I'm going to motion this corner in. Boom. And you can see you can pass lead that away from the linebacker, and you're able to pick up that 9, 10 plus yards. If you have a good receiver there, specifically a guy with maybe grab and go or something like that, you can really take that slant out and crib shot it. Now, that's the way that I like to do it. You do not have to do it that way if you don't want to. So here's the other setup that I use. So I would flip the play, same post streak combo that I'm utilizing right here, but then I'm going to motion this isolated receiver in and put him on a hitch. So now what I'm looking for initially is in man coverage, you'll see that this slant out will still burn his guy a lot of the time. But mainly I'm looking to hit either the low ball hitch to the right, which should be the main thing that your offense looks for, especially in a blitz-heavy game like this, or the post going over the middle. So you'll see right away, boom, you're going to have the post going right over the top, or you could low ball to the hitch. So that's pretty much how that works. For those of you guys that don't know how to low ball a hitch, I'll go ahead and show you that right here. It's going to be the left trigger, or if you're on PS2, I believe it is, or excuse me, PS4, it's going to be the L2 button. And that's really all you got to do. You just hold that button, and for a hitch, you just want to hold the A button on Xbox or the X button on PS4 to get the possession catch. So you'll see right here, boom, low ball, possession catch. And that time, Gilmore, with his manned-up ability, just acted a complete fool. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again. And now I got Gilmore lit up like a Christmas tree. So I'm going to go ahead, same exact thing. You say boom, he's going to break, and low ball the hitch anyway, possession catch. You're going to pick up your 4 to 5 yards. Really, low ball hitches are something that have been a staple from day one. If you aren't using them, please do. They will take your offense to a whole nother level, and you'll see that I utilize a ton of that in this offensive scheme. Now, that's stick, right? You have the ability to glitch out the man coverage. You have the ability to essentially force them into a cover 2, because as you saw, a cover 3 is not going to work. A cover 4 obviously is not going to work to stop the slant out. So they're either going to have to manually go guard it, which some people will do, or you'll see them just start running a lot of cover 2 defenses. Now, that's where this comes into play. So the second glitchy little thing I want to talk about is the ability to audible down to single back bunch ace. Now, single back bunch ace gives you the ability to essentially have the main route combos you normally would have out of, say, shotgun bunch, but now you have them out of a single back set. And to top it off and make it even a little bit better, it's a compressed bunch. So what I mean by that is you see that the receiver on the left moves in as well. What this does is this allows us to utilize the hitches. So you can use a lot of the concepts that you normally would see out of, say, a strong close, like the post over the middle by the slot apprentice, and then the 2 hitches. The hitches will do one of 2 things. A, they give you the bailout in case your opponent is blitzing you very heavily, say pressure's coming in. You just figure out where the user is, throw it to the other side of the field. It's really that simple. The other thing is they're going to pull all the zones down. So basically, there's not going to be anything to stop the post over the middle besides your opponent's user. And I'll go ahead and I'll show you that right here. It's audible. Well, I'll show it against man, and then we'll show some zones. But as you see, Pressure inaccurate. That's always fun. So we're going to go ahead and do it again. All right, block the running back. I'm going to block the tight end here. Slot guy on a post. Now, as you see, I got another pressure inaccurate. All right, so Kirk Cousins is apparently awful. Let's try this one last time. So we're going to back up a little bit. There you go. Finally, Kirk Cousins decided to make the throw. So, anyways, you'll be able to throw these routes like you normally would out of your standard bunch scheme. So, let's go ahead and just give you guys some route combos that you can use. So, for instance, if your opponent is in a lot of zone, right, you could utilize the 4 vertical setup that you see pretty much all over everywhere. You have the post over the middle of the field, the drag by the ISO receiver, and then you could motion out the wheel like this. So you could utilize this concept to where now you have the motioned wheel, but once again, say they go and they take that away, now you have the low ball hitch to the left as well as the post going across the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase that one more time. We're set up. So say pressure's coming in, low ball the hitch, possession catch, pick up 4 to 5 yards. I've already shown that you can hit the post route. So let's go ahead and do it again. So here we go. We got the drag, we got a hitch, we got a post. So once again, a low ball the hitch. This time I'm going to actually throw the post route. So you see, boom, post route, easy little dot. There's too many things for your opponent to really have to worry about. And that's the thing that makes this scheme a little bit different than your normal schemes that you see out there, right? Because A, it's a compressed bunch, unless you're running bunch ace like this, or you're running a bunch base out of, say, New Orleans, which doesn't give you the ability to have the slot apprentice to the running back. It's not something your opponent's going to be used to seeing. So chances are they're not really going to have any way to truly defend it. Now, with that being said, bunch ace also gives you the ability to run, for instance, like PA fork shot, right? You have essentially the mesh post corner, or excuse me, the post. So you can set your play up like this. Now keep in mind, this is against Stephon Gilmore, who is easily the best corner in regs. But you can set up with 2 drags, you can do dual hitches, you can do a streak drag combo like this. But mainly what I would do would be the dual drags, and then you're going to motion this post out, let him set, or hike before he sets, and now you can trigger the diving catch animation. For those of you that aren't sure how to trigger that diving catch, what you want to do is, when you audible to it, you can set up your play art however you want, right? So we're set up like this. Now, you're going to throw a pass lead to the inside, and then you're just going to click on and hold the Y button. That's going to trigger the aggressive catch to where he dives. What that does is he's, for the most part, going to be unable to be hit, which means he's going to catch the ball almost every single time. The only way for him to drop that is if he gets a extremely rare 2-man animation to where he kind of gets undercut and the ball will float up in the air. But it's extremely rare to see. So that is a nice little play that you have at your exposure right there. So that's PA fork shot. The other thing you can do with this is you can kind of treat this like deep corner, to where you have the deep in route on this other side over here, and then you're going to try to roll out and hit the, well, that didn't work out and didn't block, but you have the ability to like roll out and hit the corner, and I'll show you that here. So we're going to audible back to it. There we go. Now block the running back. You can do whatever you want with the streak right here. You can put an in route, whatever the case may be. Now, like I said, you can motion him out and put him on the deep end, or you can just put him on a regular deep end. It doesn't really matter. So we're going to go ahead, Now the key, I forgot to do this the last time. If you want to block your running back to the right, you want to block him twice. So I'm going to audible back down and show you what I'm talking about. So if we audible down to bunch ace and block our running back once, he typically will block to the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead, throw this little dot right here, and then I'm going to show you how it works. Since I had made too many adjustments previously, it didn't work the way it normally does. So as you see right here, we set up our play. You see Dalvin instantly blocks to the left. You can see by his blocking assignment that he's never in this scenario going to block to the right. So if you wanted to go ahead and block him to the right, you would have to block him again, and this should theoretically send him blocking to the right-hand side of the field. So what that does is now it allows you the ability to do the double team tactic where you double team the end, ID the outside linebacker, and then if he blitzes, it's going to cut block him, allowing you to roll out to the right-hand side and throw your corner. Now, you utilize that concept more frequently if you have an escape artist quarterback. Cousins, not really that mobile. However, it is a way for you to pick up pressure and kind of get out of the pocket and just forces your opponent to think about, that element to your game. Now, like I said, I utilize that play mainly as a mesh post. So what I will do, I will either do one of the combos I mentioned, so the streak drag, the dual hitches, as you see right here, or I would go ahead and put Thielen on a corner, and then I would put X on an in route. I would do this right here and then motion him out. Now, the main thing you are looking to hit, though, is you're looking to hit that post route that you can get the dive catch animation on. That's really the key to this play and really what makes this formation that much better. Like, that's a route that you have to manually guard. If you don't manually guard it, it's going to be open. So that gives you the bunch ace right there. Basically those three plays, right? Now stick, I didn't talk about stick, but stick is one of those setups to where if you wanted to really abuse the opponent, you can do this concept right here where you have the flat corner to the right, the hitch and the post combo to the left. This is going to beat every zone in the game. So you see right away, you can throw your underneath route. I threw it a bit late right there, but you're going to be able to do this pretty much every rip just because you have too many things your opponent has to manually guard, right? So are they going to guard the low ball hitch to the left? No, you throw it. Are they going to guard the flat route to the right? Probably not, right? I mean, mainly they're going to sit there and they're going to guard the post. It's just the way people tend to think. But the other thing that they will do is a lot of people will start to play these cover two hard flats, as I mentioned. And that's when you can really take advantage of the stick route being ran by, in this case, Diggs. So you'll see he'll cut up, bounces to the outside. You either possession catch it or you could swerve if you know how to do that. That's basically the way that I run that single back bunch. Now, if you are in MUT and you have the extra abilities, where you want the player is going to be right over here, this left guy. The main reason you want him here is because then it would give you the ability to put two corner routes out there. And then you guys, I'm sure, already know how difficult two corner routes are to stop, right? So that is my recommendation if you're utilizing this in MUT. Now, last thing I want to talk about is going to be the deuce close out of shotgun. So now let's talk about the gun deuce close, and let's talk about the play corners and go. This is my main play I use, and I use this because no matter what your opponent is in, see this angle route that is now being ran by the wide receiver? This route is going to get open every single time. So what I like to do with this setup is I will put the X receiver on a hitch, or basically whichever side is on the side of the angle route goes on a hitch, the other side goes on a streak, and then I'm max protecting. So as you'll see though, nothing's going to guard this angle route. So you can always pick up 4, 5, 6 yards, if not more, based on that route. Now, I'll show this will even work if your opponent, or if you're utilizing a guy that's slow, like Rudolph. Now, I don't know what Rudolph's stats are. I've honestly never even used him. But, like I said, you could do something that looks like this. Right? So you could block Thielen in this scenario. Go boom. Nice little dive catch, pick up 6 yards. Like, it's no zone's going to play it. Man coverage is going to get torched by it. And it's going to be another one of those things where are they going to guard that or are they going to guard the hitch? So just to go ahead and show this in instant replay, you see how it'll work. He cuts in. So now at this point, you've got a defender right here who is playing rather well, actually. Is he going to guard the angle route? Is he going to guard the hitch? The user's going to have to play one of them, you know, and you just throw the other. It's basically that simple, right? It's a dink and dunk type of play, but it's one of those setups that your opponent simply cannot stop, right? So we're going to one more time. We'll do it. I'm going to show it against man coverage here. We'll do it to Thielen. And you could freestyle with this if you want. The main thing you're looking to hit is going to be this angle route. Now, that was mainly because I think I was actually on him, so let me audible and get off. Here's man up 3 deep. All right, perfect. So, on 3 deep, we'll audible over to corners and go. This is going to put a corner on Rudolph, right? So, I don't know who that corner is, but we're going to put him on Rudolph. So, going to go ahead, same setup right here. And I just want you to see that even in man coverage with a corner, you're going to be able to always throw this route. It's that good of a route that your opponent will not be able to pick it off. So anytime you need a short yardage little baby dot, that's the route you want to look for. So basically along those lines, that's going to pretty much conclude the scheme, right? So the last thing I want to talk about is what you can do with the PA deep cross play. Now, PA deep cross is a route that, for whatever reason, just seems to get wide open against zone. Now, if it's against man, it's going to be, you'll be able to trigger the dive catch unless it's a guy with man up. So right now, it looks like it's a zone. So we're going to go ahead and just show you how this works. So you'll see he'll break. You trigger the dive catch. Now, once again, that time I was on a linebacker. No idea if that was my zone or not, so I'm getting on the defensive tackle. Here we go. And this is going to get open against this every single rep, right? And it's a nice little setup because you're essentially max protecting. So here you see you got the slant, you got the deep end coming open, and somehow I got tackled or sacked. So one more time, let's try this. Here we go. Slant, block the running back. Where are we at? So we're in a crossfire type of blitz. So you see, boom. Nice diving catch. It's just one of those routes that zone will never guard. And unless it's a man up with a guy, a corner that has man up, it's going to get open regardless. So here we go one last time. And we're just going to end the video on that note. So here we go. So as you'll see right here, looks like, let's see, what are we in defensively? Another cover 3. You'll see, once again, he breaks, you throw it, you aggressive catch it, and it's a nice little dot. So, in this video, I wanted to basically go over 3 things that I felt was pretty unique. The slant out and the ability to get the third receiver out of this set, the shotgun wing. Also, the ability to turn this outside one into a little 10-yard out route. I do love that ability. So, you could always do this setup right here. So if your opponent is to be in, say, a cover 2, say they shade underneath, you'll be able to, at that point, throw the out route. That's a really good tip if you guys are utilizing this offense and you are on a short yardage situation, like a 3rd and 2, a 4th and 1, something like that, where your opponent will feel confident that they can play, you know, very short, because the chances of you passing already are slim because they think you'll be running. Then even so, they're not going to expect you to be able to put a 10-yard out route on the field, right? So there is that. So this scheme has a ton of potential in terms of the plays, right? So I mean, stick, slot to buck, and tight end attack, all are really good plays. Now on tight end attack, the other thing I didn't mention is you can utilize this concept right here to where you have the fade, the corner, post, and drag. So if you had a mobile quarterback or you had the ability to potentially get out of the pocket, you could do this, throw the corner out. Very similar to like a deep attack type of play, or excuse me, a deep corner type of play that you would normally see at a bunch. And then with slot 2 buck, you have the same type of thing, right? So you could run this normally flipped. So we'll run it normal, and you see how you have the deep end on that right hand side. So now you have the ability to max protect out of a look like this, and now you really do have deep corner, right? So you can go ahead, shift away from the running back, ID the outside linebacker, double team the end, as you saw right there. And then now if they blitz, cool. If they don't, you've got a two-way read, whether or not you're hitting the corner or you're going to hit the deep end. So another long-winded video, but I wanted to get you guys a nice little mini scheme that was different from what you've probably already seen. I wanted to focus on those key elements to, give you guys something that's a little bit different. And that was really what I was looking for with this video. So once again, the key points to why I did this video: you have the slant out of this formation, which I do know a couple people know about. You have the ability to get the route apprentice or the slot apprentice in this slot right here. Then when you audible down to single back bunch ace, you can really abuse your typical bunch setups right here, because now you're kind of combining the gun bunch setups with a strong close type of setup that I really like. The PA fork shot's an amazing play. 4 verticals is a good play. Stick is good situationally. The only downside to this is you don't really have a dominant running game. So although it's a 2 tight end set, the inside zone will work against 1-4-6. That is one thing that is good about it. But when you play the audible down game, you don't have that stretch or that dive that's really dominant. So you do kind of have to still pass. It's a passing scheme for sure. Like I said, just something that's pretty unique out there, something that I wanted to get out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have specific content you would like me to drop, just type it in the comments. Let me know. I'll be sure to drop it for you. And that's going to be it, guys. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.